it's a different world out there, they all say. Tell me what's so different. I've seen how this one plays. Time repeats, clash defeat. Sit around and pray for better days till they come. Oh, it's a different world out there from fairy tales, history books and rock and roll. They write to cover the details, highlighting Hollywood, but never tell what the future entails. So when it fails, it's not the first time. So I wake up at night, sick fantasies of war. I'm just curled up in my bed, my heart beats 24. These battles with myself stop and give me pause. Rebellion is romantic when you're fighting for a cause. Black flag and nightmare fighters, just cats and beat writers. Make these words count. They could be your last. Say a prayer and you'll be fine. It always works until the last time. But I don't see the stars in the sky. I see black flag and nightmare fighters. They dance around battle like it's some distant thread, to a song where everyone knows the words, but everyone claims that they forget. Can't they see I'm fighting a revolution in my head? Tell me this time it's gonna be a different world. Well, hasn't that been said? Black flag and nightmare fighters, just cats and meat riders. Make these words count. They could be your last. Say a prayer and you'll be fine. It always works until the last time. But I don't see the stars in the sky. I see black flag. Every generation caught up in tricks of gods and wars and politics. I don't wanna be part of it. I want black flag. And I guess it's more of a suicide, because we're killing ourselves and we don't even mind. I'd rather die with a little pride in black flag, like nightmare fighters.
Hi, welcome to Ham Jams. We have an exciting guest with us today, some really talented music, and her name is Alissa Musto. You are going to be so blown away by Alissa and some of the music that she's sharing with us. So thanks for joining us. Alissa, welcome to Ham Jams.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. So I went on your website. You have a great website with all of your music, so we hope our fans are going to check you out because you have a very soulful voice. How would you describe, if you had to tell somebody what your genre was, what would you say?
I would definitely say I'm a singer-songwriter, first and foremost, with a lot of piano influences, but I draw influences from jazz, pop, rock, a little bit of everything, but singer-songwriter first and foremost.
Yes, and you're such a talented musician. Where did you pick up this musical talent?
Well, I started playing the piano when I was 4 years old, and my dad's actually a professional musician, so I would sit by the door when he was going to work, and I had this guitar that I got at a garage sale, and I would insist on going to work with my dad, and he said, you know, if you learn how to play the piano or you learn how to sing, then maybe someday you'll be able to.
That's awesome. So, so did he inspire you essentially to start this love of music? You liked it even before then?
Well, I like to say having the piano teacher living with you, you don't really have a choice in the matter when you're 4 years old, but he definitely nurtured that passion for music. And not only when I was a kid, but even today and growing up, he's always been a positive influence, my biggest fan, my biggest critic, but also my biggest fan through every step of the journey.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because I was going to ask you, who would you thank?
My dad, definitely my dad.
Yeah. And you have brothers and sisters.
I do. I have a brother and a sister. They're both very musically inclined. So I actually have my brother with me today,
and
so
you're going to hear him. That's great.
We'll hear him play a few tunes.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you are, because you say singer-songwriter, when you're creating this amazing music, what inspires you? What do you draw from?
I draw from a lot of my life experiences, things that I see. I also love to read, so a lot of my references or symbolism will come from books, will come from literature. So yeah, those are definitely two of my biggest influences.
Yeah. Okay, so you're not just a singer-songwriter, you also have a degree in government.
In government, that's right.
So how did that happen?
I always joke around, music is the thing that brings people together and politics is the thing that tears people apart, so it's a good balance of the two. You know, growing up in a family of professional musicians, you see both sides of a really tough industry. And I knew music was my passion, music was what I loved to do, but I never wanted it to be one of those things that I depended on, that I had to do it, because that's when it's just not fun anymore. You know, that's when you start to hate it. So all through high school, I was very involved in mock trial and Model UN, and I like to argue and debate, so I said, you know, government might be my thing too.
Yeah. So is this a potentially something that you might pick up later?
Definitely. Down the road, I'm looking to go to law school and somehow incorporate that interest in public policy with my passion for music and work in entertainment law.
Yeah. So public policy, it sounds like you did some of that. You were Miss Massachusetts 2016.
Absolutely, yes.
And your platform essentially was musical education and changing the lives of people that might not have that exposure to music and to song and to sound essentially. So tell us about that platform.
I would definitely say that was the most fulfilling part of my year as Miss Massachusetts, was going into schools that didn't have music programs and initiating those programs and seeing the kids how excited they got over music and performing. And I always think that I was so lucky to have those opportunities as a kid, having it in the house, you know, having it in school. But what if I wasn't exposed to that? I think of this lifelong gift I have. And unfortunately, music programs are the first things that they cut out of school curriculums today. Right. So a lot of kids are not having those opportunities. And if you can just make a difference in one kid's life, it's the most fulfilling feeling in the world.
Yeah, I bet. And what are some of the benefits of music? You know, because they are cutting it, so it'd be great for you to share that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there's definitely academic benefits. There are so many studies that link music education and involvement with music with higher test scores, better study habits, better attendance rates. There's also a ton of social benefits. By participating in a music program or a band, it forces you to interact with your peers. There's also a ton of studies that show a link between music education and lower drug and alcohol abuse amongst teenagers. So whether you're looking at it from an academic perspective, a social level, there are so many different benefits in all different age ranges.
So important. Well, we appreciate you being that advocate within the community, because it is critical.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a break, and right now you are going to hear Pictures on the Wall, beautiful song, and we'll talk about the genesis of some of the music that Alissa has shared with us. So stay with us.
Pictures on the wall of all the friends I wish I had, all the places I wish I've been. So when my family comes and visits, they say, looks like you're doing well. I think you found your happiness. I just smile and laugh along, like all my pictures on the wall. All my pictures on the wall. If they knew, they would say, you're living in your imagination. Little girl, you're gonna wake up to a cruel, cruel world. And when you do, it won't be pretty. Boston such a great big city. You're from a small town, you just don't know it all. And you won't change a word in your room with your pictures on the wall. I keep pictures on the wall, they're family portraits. I pretend that my father is the chairman and my mama's Marilyn. So I'm destined for something great. My time just hasn't come, but it's so hard to win when that's what you come from. I'm living in my imagination. Little girl, you're gonna wake up to a cruel, cruel world. And when you do, it won't be pretty. New York's such a great big city. You're from a small town, you just don't know it all. I know you have these big revelations, and you keep seeing things happening real soon. But you won't change a word, writing songs to the pictures in your room. Pictures on the wall as a reminder to myself that ordinary people can become something else. It's not the diamonds of fame that I find worth it all. Just someone should hear these words I say and be a picture on the wall. A picture on the wall. And no one's saying I'm living in my imagination. Little girl, you're gonna wake up to a cruel, cruel world. And when you do, it won't be pretty. LA's such a great big city. You're from a small town, you just don't know it all. And you won't say the word in your room with your pictures on the wall. All those pretty dresses won't clean your messes after all. You won't change a word, singing songs to the pictures on your wall. Yesterday I was a teenage troublemaker. Day before, playing board games with the neighbors. Came a time, summer nights weren't so simple anymore. What we saw from the piano bar taught me more than school, like how to play all these rules and how to play it cool, and how to practice policy, and how deals are made. The prettier you look on stage, the more you get paid. Tell me I'm not lying, because I went to high school but still getting by, trying to live a life their parents live. This landscape's paved with lies. I've lived it with justice, made me tough. Love's never enough. This is growing up. Yesterday I didn't know any better. Lost a few souls to the West Coast weather. Learned that the favors never worth it in the end. And whether they love you and whether they hate you, it's all the same, so don't let it faze you. When they can gain their all, turn and chase you, call you friends. tough. Love's never enough. I'm 42 miles from you, 4 months from falling apart. I'm fortunate enough to see things how they are. Oh, that's hard. Oh, lying to yourself, that's immature. Everyone else, that's insecure. Some nights, I'm just not sure. Yesterday, I met up with an old friend. Told me she's moving to the city when the summer ends. Wishing on small town stars had its place. It made us the people we are today. But we're growing up. Tell me I'm not like the kids I went to high school with. Still getting by, trying to live a life their parents lived. This landscape's paralyzed. I've lived through injustice, made me tough. Love's never enough. This is growing up.
Hi, welcome back to Ham Jams. We're here talking with Alissa Musto today, and you just heard an amazing song called Growing Up. So Alissa, you know, you shared with us already that you were brought up around music, and it's such a great opportunity, and you really took on that opportunity, and you made it just second nature to you, and developed that talent and really grew as a musician. Something that we also said was that you were in a pageant. So, I mean, how did you step into that? Because you're a singer-songwriter first. The pageant was obviously not something you grew up thinking that you wanted to do.
Right, and it's funny you bring that up because when I'd appear as Miss Massachusetts, that was definitely one of the first questions I got. Oh, you've been doing this since you were a little kid. And that wasn't the case at all. I was actually working at a music store a few years ago, and a woman came in and she wanted to sign up her daughter for lessons, but by the end of the conversation, she had actually confused me for another pageant contestant and said, oh, you should give it a try. And I didn't really think it was my thing, not my forte. But I said, you know what, why not? Miss America is the largest scholarship provider for women in the world, and I was in school at the time. So I gave it a whim, and I said, hey, this is something that I can do. This might be a great opportunity for me to expose my music to more people. And I like to say that being crowned Miss Massachusetts was the best and the worst thing that ever happened to my musical career. Because in one sense, I was exposed to thousands of people who would otherwise have no idea who I was. And I'd get to perform, and having that, just the training that comes along with being in front of people all the time. And we worked very closely with Dick Clark Productions on social media. So having that experience was wonderful and invaluable. But on the other hand, there were a lot of people that made assumptions about my music and myself as a musician because of that title. People would assume that I'm not really a serious musician. Or I actually had somebody come up to me at a show and say, when I heard you were Miss Massachusetts, we'd figured you'd be pretty, but we didn't think your music would be that good. And, I wasn't offended by it because I said, wow, this is eye-opening. If one person is thinking this or saying this, then other people are definitely thinking it. And I've also experienced, people assuming that my music is Broadway, show tunes, and not, what it actually is, which is jazz, folk, singer-songwriter material.
Yeah. So, so that negativity, so that was somebody that showed themselves and actually stepped up and said something
and said
and
it, and it wasn't in a malicious manner.
No, that was what they were thinking.
Exactly.
To them, it was probably a compliment, which is kind of crazy.
It was, and I'm so glad they did because I would have never thought about that. I would have never thought of it.
Right. So other negativity, how do you, if you had to tell someone that is going along a similar journey, how they should deal with negativity, what would you say to them?
You just have to ignore it. You just have to do your own thing. And if you're not going to ignore it, you have to answer with kill them with kindness, kill them with humor. Actually, when I was in the top 15 at Miss America, there were a ton of people on Twitter that were, tweeting me like, oh man, Miss Massachusetts is terrible. How did she get this far? And that sort of thing. And I was driving back with my dad from Atlantic City. He was driving, and I was just so bored. And I said, you know what, I'm going to respond to some of these Twitter, haters.
Good for you.
And I did it in like a very jovial manner,
Yeah.
tried to make a joke out of every, single tweet. And it was self-deprecating, but you have to, have a sense of humor. You
Right.
can't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
And you can't take other people too seriously because they don't really know you.
Right.
If you're confident in
Right.
yourself, then you're going to keep doing your thing.
Yeah. Where does that come from, that confidence, though? Because do you think it derails other musicians and other women that are, trying to get into the business?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one of the hardest parts of the business is that when someone attacks your music, it's not just, I'm attacking your job or your work. Because for us musicians, that is
like
so
your heart.
personal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's everything to us.
Yeah.
This is, this thing we've created.
Right.
And for someone to be attacking that really kind of stings because it feels like a personal attack. I have the greatest family members. I have the greatest
Right.
friends in the world. So all of the support, all the encouragement really comes from them. And it allows me to just kind of shake off everything else that other people would have to say.
Yeah, thank goodness. Well, because you're an amazing talent.
Thank you.
We wouldn't want anyone to derail you. So that's fantastic.
No,
that's not happening.
No matter how hard they hit, you're stuck with me.
Good. Thank goodness. So what's next for you? What are some of the projects that are coming up, and what do you want to do that you've never done before?
Let's see. I'm currently working on material for a new album. Once I figured this is really the time to do it. It's amazing how time flies because 2 years ago already was when I released my debut album. And it's just amazing how far I feel like I've come as a musician, as a songwriter. And what I released 2 years ago, I feel maybe it's not the best reflection of my capabilities right now. So I've been working on material. I'm really, really excited about it. It's a little bit more jazz oriented. So it's a little bit different than my other stuff, but I'm, like I said, super excited to be collaborating with my siblings more too, and having them have a substantial part of the project. And to answer your other question, something I've never done before. Well, to be honest with you, earlier this year was my first time performing out of the Northeast region. I performed in Dallas, Texas. I was there for a week, visiting friends and doing some work stuff. And I would love to just be able to travel more, to tour and experience some new cities, some new states, some new people with my music.
That would be awesome. How do you go about doing that? Do you just kind of crash at somebody's pad and say, where's the music scene and how do I get involved?
Well, there's definitely a lot of emails involved.
Okay.
Like Craigslist definitely helps. And knowing people, I think between competing at Miss America and just sort of the internet makes us one large connected world. I feel like I definitely have friends in every state.
Okay, so this next song that's coming up is called Temporarily. Tell us about this song.
Well, this song is this is very exciting for me because this is one of my first times performing it. Like I said earlier, I have a new album that's hopefully going to be done by the end of the year, and this is one of those songs that are on it, so very excited to share it with you.
Oh, that's awesome. We have like front row seats to,
That's right.
To the world premiere of the song.
The world premiere,
exciting.
there we go.
Thank you for sharing that with
Oh,
us.
absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being with us today, too. We wish you all the best for what's to come, and we know that there are great things to come.
Oh, thank you. And thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely.
This ain't easy. No one said it would be. I just thought it should be. 'Cause what the hell do they know? I'll be fine after all it was me. But that don't make it easy when you've been here since such a long time ago. And I think the worst part of this is really seeing you like this, when you've given all your love and all yourself. But I gotta do what's right for me, and right now that's what's right for me. It's me you see, not you, not someone else. But thanks for the memories and even the fights. Thanks for holding me all those times I cried myself to sleep at night. Thanks for holding my hand when even I didn't understand. Thanks for loving me even just temporarily. They all said it wouldn't last. I just thought that it would last, and all their feelings they would pass. 'Cause what the hell do they I know? I hate it when my mother's right, but after each and every fight, I knew that she was right. Oh, how'd she know? And you heard I found somebody new. Sure, I found somebody new. Let's be real, he's not you, not even close. He's just here to pass my time, maybe get you off my mind. Give me love when I need some the most. He'll forget those memories and even the fights. Oh, those times you held me when I cried myself to sleep at night. You were holding my hand when even I didn't understand. Thanks for loving me just temporarily. Thanks for loving me, it just wasn't meant